Either way, you're the asshole in this situation, Jared. Unfortunately,
that's how it feels, bro.
Right.
I
Yeah.
feel like unless I just go along with it happily, I'm an asshole for not wanting a dog.
Well, look, man, this was my dad. Prudy 6. So this was my dad 7 years ago after we lost our dog. I feel kind of bad now. My mom and I both kind of guilted him into getting another dog. But same thing. He said, I don't want to deal with all the work. Mm-hmm. And my mom said, not that my mom does do a lot. She cleans up after the dog.
As she's literally cleaning now.
80-90% of the time, I would say. She really does. And I try to help when I can, but I also do think the dog is good for my dad. Gets him up, gets him moving.
Yeah.
My dad, for our listeners out there, my dad is retired, so otherwise, he really has no reason to get off the couch. He
takes her for walks and stuff.
Exactly. So but that's interesting though, man. And I just know
no offense to your dad, of course, but I feel like I don't need a dog at this point to keep me healthy.
Right.
Like, I need more motivation.
You need you to keep you healthy right now. Right. Or maybe a good mentor.
That's true. That's a very good point.
But maybe getting a dog will make you become a good mentor because you're kind of the parent for that. But see, dude, I think you know what I think this is though. Just to go back to the dog thing, I think this might be your partner looks at you as a long-term, like maybe even if you don't want to get married, you don't get a dog with someone if you don't want to be with that person for a while. At least the friends of mine who have had dogs with their girlfriends, and I hate to say this because I'm not trying to project this on you at all, Jared, but most of my guy friends who had dogs with a girlfriend, they're now their exes, and then that adds another layer of complexity. Do you give them the dog? Do you keep the dog? Do you joint custody a dog?
Okay.
Oh, I know that. Yeah, with you that'd be an easy one. But,
I'm gonna be. Then at that point, it'll probably be sad to see the dog go.
Well, sure.
Like I'm not just gonna be, happy about it. But,
Right.
Not that I'm planning for the eventual breakups, custody of the dog conversation.
But I'm just saying that's what I've seen. Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff, man. It's crazy stuff. I don't know.
I'm surprised that you don't want a dog.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess it makes sense.
I love
you're realistic.
Dogs. Right.
Your life really isn't conducive to it.
Right. And I love dogs
you can't
more
even,
than anything.
You struggle with normal relationships because of how much you travel, let alone a dog.
And that's the thing. Like, a lot of my good friends are all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I think I really could count on my hand the amount of good friends I have in Michigan. It's less than 10.
Yeah, same. I'm the same.
Yeah, but I think the reason why people also get dogs is for companionship. Mm-hmm. There is something, and look, maybe if I lived alone and I had my own place here, ask me in a couple of years, Jared, because hopefully in a couple of years, unless I still want to live this travel lifestyle, hopefully in a couple of years, I would like to have a place and have like a home base.
Quote unquote settled.
Right. And I think at that point, it would be good to have a dog. Also for protection purposes, I would get a bigger dog than what my parents have. I would actually like to get kind of a goofy dog like a basset hound. I would like to get a bloodhound.
A bloodhound.
That's a basset hound with longer legs, basically.
Like a tall basset hound?
Yeah. It's got the long ears still, kind of droopy, has that
Those
low
get really
bark.
big, don't they?
They can get upwards of, I think, probably at least 80 to 100 pounds.
Okay.
Would be my guess. My parents' dog is about 50, 60 pounds.
Wait, a basset hound. Those aren't the ones that are so big that they can sit down on a sofa
That's a mastiff. A basset hound's what we have.
No, wait. What's the one you said? Sorry.
Bloodhound.
Bloodhound. Oh, excuse me. No, not a mastiff though.
Mastiff
There's another
are the
one.
giant ones.
Oh, a Great Dane is what I'm thinking.
Oh, those are huge.
Yeah.
Those are huge. But a lot of those bigger dogs don't live as long.
Yeah.
So bloodhounds, I think, can live to be about 10 to 13, somewhere around there.
I like the idea of like a medium-sized dog. I do like the idea of a dog that would keep me kind of active. Not something that's beagles seem like fun, but aren't they like super hyperactive?
They are actually, and they can be pretty loud.
Yeah, they bark a lot.
Right.
Yeah,
like Bassets can too, but Prudy's fairly quiet. She doesn't bark a ton.
Except she just barked a bit earlier.
I did. Yeah, I don't know what she was barking at. It's usually food related. It's usually my dad's making something in the kitchen, and she'll sit right by him, And with me, if she barks, sometimes I'll give her a table scrap, but with me, if she barks, I won't give her anything. Right. I'll look at her and I'll be like, well, now you're not getting anything.
Yeah.
So.
You can't always give them something. There has to be some sort of work involved.
Yeah, for sure. Well, anyways, dude, should we actually get this? We've been talking for a while, but let's actually 17 minutes in. Let's cue that music and let's start it.
Let's get this.
But that was really exciting news, though. Keep me posted and see, because I'm curious if you'll actually get a dog. If you won't,
at this point, it's just it just feels like, how long can I hold out?
Yeah. I'm gonna give you a month.
A month.
A month.
That's nothing.
I'm gonna give you a month.
I hope it's longer than a month.
It probably will be, but we'll see. We'll see. Oh man, pets are great though. They are great. We got our own little pets right now because we are recording on the porch today. Got some birds fighting over the remaining bird seed in the little, I don't even know what you call that, jar, a little crate, a little birdseed cage. Hello and welcome to the Untranslatable podcast. We are here recording episode 222, I believe, right? Sounds about right. Anyways, we are talking today about mentors, why you should have a mentor, why it's important, what types of mentors Jared and I have. Maybe we don't have any, but I think a mentor, there is more than just having a person who is like a leader or a guide. I think there's many ways you can seek out mentorship, especially nowadays with the beauty of the internet. There's a lot of different options out there for, meeting new people, learning from them, having them teach you, guide you, and act as a mentor. So we're looking forward today to exploring some aspects. I also want to talk a little bit too about myself as a mentor, as a teacher. I think we are mentors in some ways, so we'll explore that a bit today as well. So without further ado, my partner in crime, my good buddy, what's going on, Jared?
Hello. As of yesterday, or actually a couple of days ago, we're also podcasting mentors.
Yep. I would say you kind of are.
She actually, someone asked me for some podcast advice, how you get this whole thing going, how you build up a mighty audience of tens of people around the world. And I was explaining,
hey, tens are better than zeros.
And then, dude, I'm the worst. So she asked me about. She's like, "So what's your podcast about?" And I was like, it's called the Untranslatable Podcast. We talk about,
gotta plug that shit,
like
dog.
Idioms
plug it
and stuff, and then we just ramble about other stuff.
Whatever.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. Why am I now put on the spot? Now I got to give my elevator pitch.
You got to get like a succinct 2-3 sentences, because that's what people ask me about it sometimes, and I'm like, I usually just tell them, it's a podcast about culture, language, and travel, and sometimes teaching. Boom.
You know what I tell them? I tell them listen, and then I tell them once you listen, yourself. You'll understand what the magic is all about. Then what you'll want to do is spread a little love. Follow us on Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast. You're going to want to follow us on Twitter, Untranslatable1, the number 1.
Numero uno.
Пожалуйста.
Please. That's Russian for please. You'll really enjoy it. Also, obviously,
Пожалуйста.
we really do appreciate those 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. They're great. They're really great. And, okay, thank you for also emailing us, by the way, untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. I've been getting all your emails. And yes, Chad and I will replace Ellen on the Ellen Show. We've decided that...
What was that? What was that about? I saw online that there was a petition to have Eric Andre replace Ellen.
And he had that hilarious Photoshop of him with like the Ellen hair.
Yep. He is something else, dude. He is hilarious. His show, the Eric Andre Show, is wild.
I mean, he's great. He's great, and he's really like I don't know. He's really still going. Like he's still going, and it's cool to see him still sort of keep up.
Have you seen his Netflix special?
No, I haven't.
It is hilarious.
When did it come out?
A couple weeks ago.
Okay, I'll check it out.
It's really funny. Really funny.
So the Ellen thing is that, first of all, I mean, even I've heard, but like everyone like there's just always these rumors going around that Ellen's kind of an asshole, like especially to her staff and stuff. Like I've even heard that before.
Oh,
have you heard that before?
Oh yeah.
And that she's not really a fun person to be around, and that
she's super moody. Like apparently cries really easy.
And she's kind of she's got like some of those really picky like neat. I don't know any. But like like where it's like don't
she's
come
like
into
nitpicky.
my don't come into my office. I always do that. Don't come into. Honestly, I thought someone was walking up behind us.
I was wondering what that was.
I got terrified
too.
For a second.
Oh man, the ghost drops, dude. The ghost drops.
And she has like don't come around me wearing this or something. That's just a random example.
One I read on Twitter. One I read on Twitter, which is crazy. Which though, on one hand, it's really crazy, Jared, but on the other. I kind of get where she's coming from a little bit.
Okay.
Which is apparently if you quote unquote, she has a very sensitive nose, and if you smell bad,
oh yes,
she'll send your ass home, and you got to go shower, put on some deodorant. Here's the thing. I don't think there's a nice way to tell somebody that you're smelly. There's just no
Chad
nice way.
respects that. He's like, I wish I was that confident.
But at the same time, like, trust me, dude. Like, I work out. I've smelled myself. I can get smelly sometimes. Like, there were times in China when like I made sure I wore lots of deodorant because I was teaching in the summer. And dude, you should have seen my teaching clothes. Like, it looked like I had like ran a marathon. It was nasty.
Were you ever so bad that you? I mean, I haven't had a situation where I feel like I need to leave the scene
Because you were so smelly. Yeah, me
since
either.
like high school.
Right.
Like I've definitely had it in high school, where maybe like young in my high school days, you forget to put on deodorant and you don't realize how bad you can smell as a child.
Right.
I don't know, but that went back to a dark place. but I think that I don't know. I get why you kind of respect that, but do you think it's appropriate to tell your subordinate to go home and clean yourself? You disgust me.
Well, see, that's the issue. That's the issue. Yeah, I respect the fact that no one wants to be around.
But there is something
people,
to like you being nice and saying that to your friend. Like if your friend has bad breath, if you're a true friend, theoretically, you would tell them, "Listen, bro, we're out in public. Your breath smells bad. Go to CVS around the corner. Go take care of that." Have
you heard of? I don't remember if it's called the like 30-second rule or what it is, but basically this rule is, Jared. If someone has something wrong with them that can be fixed quickly, like your breath smells, you chew a piece of gum, use some mouthwash, right? You have something in your teeth, right? Something that can be fixed quickly, you should point out to somebody, right?
Sure.
But if it's something like you are overweight or you are, I don't know, you look like a clown because of your I don't know if it's makeup stuff. I wonder if that's
staying out of it.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't tell somebody that either. But anyways, if it was something ridiculous.
But I get what you're saying.
Right.
I don't think you can really fix makeup on the
sticking out of your pants somehow.
Or like the classic on the end
shoe.
Of your shoe.
Right.
Which I've actually seen before.
Oh, me too. It's always kind of funny.
I've seen it on an airplane, and I'm like, hey, you'll figure it out.
Right.
Well, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah. But yeah, so Ellen, anyways, we were talking about Ellen.
So part of it was just that she's an asshole, and I think that that's pretty well known. And it's like at some point, but then there was also the part of it where it seems like some executives that work for her show seem to be a little bit more blatantly harassing people, whether that be, like more outwardly ways rather than just being assholes, So I think I heard some allegations of sexual assault or some various forms of like maybe. Just various forms of verbal assault also on people, and I think that that was a little bit more egregious. It seems like, and but that doesn't seem like it's being put at Ellen. But it's like, well, she's the face of the show, and is she just letting this happen? Also, kind of thing, while she's being an asshole, and. I did find the thing about her being an asshole that I found interesting, where it's like I was kind of conflicted because it's like nobody likes someone like this. No one. It's good to be nice. Being nice is good, but it's like actually is she doing something like is she like quote unquote wrong besides for not being a nice person?
Can I interject real quick, Jared? I actually think it's better to, like, being nice is okay, But you know what I think is even better than being nice?
What's that?
And this is obviously just subtleties and nuances here, but being kind. Because I think there's a difference between being nice and being kind. When you're nice, you do it, I think it's more of societal norms, right? You do it because it's polite, because it's nice.
It's that fake smile kind of thing.
Whereas I think kindness is a more genuine, you do something
from the bottom of your heart.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times I think we do nice things because it's what we're kind of quote unquote supposed to do. Whereas I think kindness is when you really, you take someone aside when you see that something is wrong. You say, hey, are you all right? Is there something I can do to help? Right. But you're not doing this because other people see you're helping someone. You do this because of the kindness of your own heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. So
I know
Ellen's
it's
an asshole.
nitpicky, but yeah.
It's so funny because celebrities have been coming out and defending her. And Jay Leno, who I like his show because he talks about cars and stuff, and he's the ultimate
need
car
to do
nerd.
a car episode at some point. I've been wanting to do this with you for a while. I don't know how we'll do it yet, but we need to do one because I'm just really curious.
Oh, I need to find you some more recommendations. You said you've lately been starting to think about buying a new car.
Eventually upgrading, yeah.
So this is what Jay Leno said.
Okay.
I don't discard a 40-year friendship on hearsay. The Ellen I know has raised over $125 million for charity and has always been a kind and decent person. I fully support her. Jay Leno. If that's not the most generic ass, like that, I don't know. It's like, first of all, that sounds like like someone wrote that for me. He's like, hey, I don't like that people are being mean to Ellen. Go say something nice about her.
Right. Hey, publicist, how about you write something for me?
And then I think Kevin Hart also said something. Portia de Rossi, her wife, also said something.
Obviously her wife is going to say something.
Well, I don't know.
Hope.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Her wife's like, yeah, you guys kind of have a point.
Oh, man. The proof would be in the pudding then, wouldn't it, Jay?
Yeah, maybe that's why she had to say something, because if she didn't, people would be like, oh, Portia's being she's part of, she gets it too.
She's part of the, right.
But it's just like, it's so funny that these celebrities, it's like you guys, it's like, it kind of shows how tone-deaf celebrities are a little bit in my head, because it's like, this is about how she treats people that are quote unquote below her,
right?
How she treats subordinates because they are her employees, or because she's the boss of this place. Like, of course she like this is not about how she treats other celebrities. It's like, of course she's probably nice to these other rich and famous people that she wants to get on her show. Katy Perry also defended her.
What's the saying, Jared? Isn't there a saying that's like I think this is more for like dating and relationships, but it's like if you want to really know who the person you want to date or marry is, take them to a restaurant or take them where they quote unquote are interacting with someone that is quote below them, right? If they're a server, I don't truly believe that they're below them, but you know what I mean, right? Someone is serving you, right?
Yeah.
They're bringing you food or whatever, and if that person, in my opinion, doesn't treat that high school waitress or that janitor or custodian at a school with respect, get out of there. I don't think they're a good person. I just don't.
I mean, we were talking about, before we started recording, about the Karen at the grocery store that had the fake...
the fake letter saying...
Yeah. It was like, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like Freedom to Breathe Association or something.
Right. It's
like
ridiculous.
That.
Only in America, bro. I have not heard any stories. Maybe... To any of our listeners out there, if you hear about people doing crazy shit like this, please let us know on untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com or untranslatableone on Twitter.
It was just so ridiculous watching this like 40, 50-year-old woman, like quote unquote school,
and
this like
I'm
teenager.
Going to take a guess, and it was probably a white woman, right?
Of course it was.
Yeah. Oh, God. The entitlement of these people, dude, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Just wear a damn mask, do your shopping, and go home.
Here
Take the mask off.
It is
when
the
you're in
Freedom
your car.
to Breathe agency.
Oh, God. And it's probably something she made up. Yeah, play this. Play this for the people.
Been, challenging people on these subjects. Okay, so we are with TVA, the Freedom to Breathe Agency. We are with the people organization.
Wait, she has an accent.
Making sure that people's constitutional rights, civil and federal laws are not broken. Okay, and so you personally need to take this to your manager.
I'm trying to figure out what accent that is.
Okay.
I'm just following the store policy.
I'm
right
trying
now.
to. You are probably paid $15 an hour or $12 an hour. Okay. But you are putting yourself.
What does the salary have to do with anything?
Wow.
I wonder if she's from. I wonder if she's a Latina woman.
Okay, you guys need to be careful. Yeah. And you guys being...
I think she's. Interesting.
It doesn't matter, but
Right.
I mean, they're American, but yeah,
Right.
I explained that pretty well, by the way.
You did a great job. Yeah, I mean
the
that
freedom
that just,
to breathe association.
That's so crazy, man. And
just
she's not
made that
wearing
up.
a mask, and she's not within 6 feet.
And she has
man.
fake. She has like these fake legal documents.
Right.
I don't understand the
fake badge.
This
It
needs
says
to own
FBA.
a child. Also, like
Right.
I don't know. It's just
Right.
such a weird.
You're talking
weird
about
thing.
salary that's not relevant. Like, oh man.
Yeah.
People, man, people.
Yeah,
but hey,
dude.
let's do some shout outs. We've been a little negative this episode. This is about mentorship. This should be about positivity, Jared. Let's spread some love.
Part of mentorship.
Part of mentorship
is though giving people the harsh realities of the world. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
You gotta
For sure.
break down some of the hard truths.
Right.
Listen here, it's not all rainbows and sunshines.
Right.
Toots. That's what my mentor tells me every week.
Definitely not. So my first shout out actually goes out to, and this shows some poor mentorship by a school actually. So I don't know if you've heard about this, Jared, and to all of our listeners out there, schools in the U.S., some are completely back in full capacity. And there was a picture that has since gone viral.
I saw that picture.
Yep. That was posted by a Georgia student and posted it a photo of a crowded hallway where no students that I can see.
There are two with masks.
Two with masks on.
Maybe that's a cropped picture because it's like in the
right,
video.
it's probably cropped.
But I remember I've seen that exact picture. I remember seeing two people out of like a hallway with maybe like 100 people in it.
Right. Yeah. So our shout out today, our first shout out today goes out to Hannah Waters. Or I think it's Waters, Watters, Watters. She is a sophomore at this school in Georgia who posted this picture on Twitter. But see, this needs to be seen, Jared. You know, we have so many of these high up elected officials, Department of Education, talking about we need to reopen schools, yet you are putting we talked about this before we started recording. You are putting all of these children, these teachers, as a teacher, I can really put myself in these other teachers' shoes here.
Yeah.
I get it. I want to be back in a classroom with students too. But it's not safe right now. Community spread is so bad in the U.S. right now that these kids are going to get sick. There's no way around it. These teachers, these principals, these family members of all these people. And so I think this was really necessary. And what's crazy, and as I mentioned, this shows how the school handled this in a bad way of mentorship. They actually suspended the student and said she was in trouble. Now, of course, because it's gone through the media ring,
Right.
They
Like,
have
what's the
now rescinded it. Yeah, what's the problem of posting a picture?
Because if it was just a normal non-pandemic time and she just posted the exact same picture of the same hallway, no one would have cared or anything like that, and there would have been no problem with just posting a picture of a school hallway.
And the other thing is people say, well, she didn't ask permission for these students' identities. It's the back of everybody's head.
I know.
You can't really identify anybody.
Yeah, no,
know?
and it's like, and that's not, and it's like, so are the parents complaining? And it's also like, well, if you're complaining, then why are you sending what are you ashamed of? Why are you sending your kids to school if there's some, I don't know. It's
And the thing is, can you even be surprised? I'm not even surprised. Like, I saw this picture and I honestly had an eye roll reaction where I was like, yep, like I kind of figured this was going to happen when they were going to open up schools.
Sure, I guess, yeah. This is of course.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of a teacher standing behind, like at his desk, and he said, this is the plexiglass shield that they set up for me. And it went up to like his shoulders when he was standing up.
Right.
And he was like
6'1" or 6'2". Yeah. So you know, and even for me, you know, as being definitely shorter than 6'1" or 6'2", it's still like
not great.
Right. And what do you really think a plexiglass shield that's this high? You know, do you not think that it could go above?
Right.
You know, I mean, yeah.
It's like you have to stand, it's like, am I just going to stand directly behind the shield for 8 hours a day?
Just the sheer amount of cognitive dissonance right now that's happening with reopening schools in the U.S. I think other countries have handled it a lot better. And here, it's honestly, for lack of a better term, it is a shit show, or for our German listeners out there, it's a shit storm, as Germans would say.
It's interesting that you say that, because there is, like, it does feel like this strong need to pretend like everything's okay.
And it's not normal. I don't get it. People,
I know.
I really don't get it.
I know, and it's like, why? It does seem like it takes like I don't know. It's like the same thing that it's, I don't know. It's in a weird way. It's like, well, how is this so shocking to believe that people could be this sort of unaware of reality, because we there are so many other things that we believe in society, whether it be like not believing of climate change or various religious beliefs or ceremonies that we do, where it's like, people have especially in with a group mentality, it's very possible to convince yourself of anything,
Oh, absolutely.
Convince yourself that something's normal, or just to ignore all the signs telling us that it's not normal, And it's like, no, but we can't just resume normalcy. And I was like, well, yeah, but I don't know. It's so ridiculous.
Right.
It's
let
ridiculous.
me give a couple more deets on what happened here, Jared. So
please.
So apparently, as I thought, some people would complain that you're posting pictures of people without their consent online, right? They're revealing their identity that maybe they don't want it out there, right? And what we've learned, at least what it seems like, is once it's out in the internet, it's out there. Like, you can't really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once it's out there, it's out there. So anyways,
sure, of course.
What happened though is Waters. So actually, the mom was told by that her daughter was being suspended for violating several parts of the high school's code of conduct, including using a cell phone during school hours and using social media during school hours, and violating student privacy right there by
well, they got to make something up.
Right, by photographing them. Her daughter posted the photo to social media after regular school hours, and North Paulding High School students are allowed to use their cell phones during class, Waters said. Interesting.
Oh, like in between walking and stuff?
Right, exactly. So the superintendent said the photo
they're
was
just like,
taken...
stop embarrassing us is really all they're saying. What the school is saying. How dare you embarrass us?
Right, and here,
look stupid.
right here, so thumbs down right here to Brian Otot?
I don't know.
Thumbs down to you, sir, because he said class changes at the high school level are a challenge when maintaining a specific schedule. Yes, you are correct, sir, which is all more the reason why you should not be opening schools like this.
Wah, wah.
Thank you. You know what I mean? It's not rocket science here, people. It really isn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, and right here too, there's no question that the photo does not look good. And then quote, wearing a mask is a personal choice, and there's no practical way to enforce a mandate to wear them. Really, there's no practical way to enforce them to wear them. Look at all the other places around the world that have done this.
I was like,
All
okay,
the other
then
places.
don't send them to school then.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I mean, it's not ideal, and I don't, but it's possible to do online teaching. We've seen that it's possible.
Right.
I don't know.
But
shout out to that girl for, is it what you said it was
kidding.
a girl for?
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
posting that-
Hannah Waters. Yeah.
posting that
Shout out
picture
to
of
you.
Waters,
Yeah.
or however you say it.
Yeah.
Waters.
So I think this is great, and it was a picture that needed to be shown because I think there are a lot of other schools that are doing this.
Yeah.
This is not the only one. And
this shouldn't be so, I don't know. I mean,
I don't understand why a public health issue has become so politicized. You're not wearing a mask. Wearing a mask right now is not a choice. If we just all collectively said, all right, when we are in places where we are crowded together, we wear a mask, we would really drop the transmission of this. And I really hate the people out there who say,
gotta own the libs, bro.
Well, that, and also the people who say, oh, well, how is this deadly virus? How is a cloth mask going to prevent it from getting you sick? And it's all about viral load. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an epidemiologist. I'm not a virologist. But the thing is that it's really simple when you think about it, right? It's common sense. And if you look at other places that have heavy mask wearers, it's not a problem, right? I mean, yes, they have cases, but it doesn't spread like it has spread in nightclubs, in churches. Schools are going to be a place. Anyways, I think it's great that Hannah Waters shared this picture. So I'm sending her lots of love.
You betcha.
For sure.
Yeah. What was that?
Got my teaching. Got my old teaching stuff. Jared, do you want to talk about sports activities?
Sure. Yeah.
Whether the verb we use is play, go, or do. No, we're not going to.
Is that why you're missing like half the letters of some of those sports? Mole.
No, they're
Gymnasts?
it's formatting poorly. When I downloaded it formatted poorly from my Google stuff. Anyways, now I think you know what time it is, Jared. That is right, people. It is time for some untranslatables. The untranslatable owl. Gotta move this out of Jared's eyesight, his point of view here. I'll get us started today, Jared. All of mine for this episode and our upcoming episode. So if you like these, stay tuned. Are Peruvian Spanish. I thought Peruvian Spanish might have some cool, interesting ones. I don't know why. A Peruvian song came on my Spotify playlist a few days ago, and it just sounded cool. So I was like, I'm going to look up some Peruvian untranslatables.
Yeah.
So
Spanish untranslatables are almost feel kind of endless.
Oh, for
because
sure.
of all the dialects.
And
same with Arabic,
and they have
too.
the same ones, but with a different word.
Yeah.
It's so great. It's so cool. Yeah, it's like a treasure trove of untranslatables. So I'm going to get us started today, Jared, with our first gem, and this is Hagamos cancha. And cancha is, do you know?
Shell?
No. So cancho is a male pig, and cancha is a female pig.
Oh, okay.
And agamo, I keep wanting to say hagamos,
Right,
but there's an H, but it's, hagamos cancha. Or you could say, vamos a hacer una cancha. Vamos
let's
a
go.
hacer una cancha.
Let's go to the pig to get a pig.
Yep. Let's go get a pig, or let's get a pig. What do you
Get
think
a
that
lady
means?
pig specifically.
Yeah. Mhm.
Get a lady pig.
Let's get a lady.
Now, is
pig,
there some?
Jared.
Does that have anything to do with the difference between male and female pigs? Because I don't know much about the difference.
No.
Okay.
No. This has to do with like eating out.
Oh, we're gonna go like pig out. We're going to.
It's a good guess, but no.
To Pizza Hut buffet. Remember those?
So we go to good times. We go to the Pizza Hut buffet, Jared. We get our salads.
Oh yeah.
With like a mound of ranch or all those other
and those
assorted dressings.
peppers, those yellow.
Yep.
You like those, don't you?
I
don't
sometimes
like 'em.
they're okay. So we're at our Pizza Hut buffet, Jared.
Mm-hmm.
And I go. You know what, Jared? I just got this new job. I want to treat you. You're a good friend of mine. You do a lot of great things for this podcast.
So it's like you telling me to go for it because
And
you're gonna. You
nope,
got it.
Nope, I'm not done yet.
Sorry,
I'm not done yet, Jared.
Sorry.
And you go. You know what? I'm an independent man, Chad. I make my own money. Let's just go the female pig on this one.
Oh, it's like going Dutch.
Yeah, let's split the bill.
Let's go
female
Dutch. Pig.
Mm-hmm. I like that one.
I
don't know why, but I like it. It's a good one.
I don't understand the going Dutch one either. That one makes just
Right.
as little sense to me as the female pig one. Do you know what it is about the Dutch? Are they a very
Yeah, the etymology of to go Dutch, from my understanding of it, is the Dutch and the British didn't always have the friendliest of trade agreements. And I believe the British perceived the Dutch to be a little bit stingy, meaning that they would
Cheap
only
Dutch.
pay, right. They would only pay for their half, right? They would never treat you. Now, I don't think that's true, but that's where it comes
That's
from.
hilarious.
Yeah.
For some reason, I never put that stereotype together of like.
Right.
Do people? Is that a stereotype to this day? Like that the Dutch are kind of cheap.
I don't think so.
Okay.
The funny
that seems
thing
like
is
a funny stereotype.
Right. The
to
funny
me.
thing is, in Germany, I can tell you, in what they call Schwabenland, in Swabia, in English, that's a stereotype. Is people are super thrifty and trying to always pinch pennies and save money in Swabia.
Interesting. I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My untranslatable is Arabic, and it's Maktumin Shajara. Cut from a tree.
Oh, cut from a tree. Is this like someone who's strong?
No,
Powerful?
That's interesting.
Like they're cut
So,
from a tree? No.
what is a tree used to represent oftentimes?
Nature, wisdom.
Do some maybe word association. Like what is it's used to represent?
It gives fruit.
No, more like a not symbolism,
Okay.
but like
Shade.
No, but I like kind of like more where your head's at. I mean,
it provides, gives you wood, gives you firewood,
right,
paper.
Right. So think of the tree. Let me put it this way: think of the tree as a family tree.
Okay.
Cut from a family tree.
Oh, is it like father, like son, or the apple doesn't fall far from the tree?
But I understand why you would think that, and that's
Okay.
definitely something that would come to my head too. But it's cut a piece of the tree is cut off of cut from a tree.
Chip off the old block.
No.
Okay, what is
Well,
it?
remember family tree as well. It's someone who doesn't have family, like they
they're
so they're like removed, like they like maybe their branch
the
fell
black
off from a
sheep
tree and they
or-
never
okay.
and they never
It sounds kind of like a sad one.
I guess so. Sorry.
Now I'm all bummed, Jared. No, I'm just kidding. All right, my next one is also
Oops.
Peruvian Spanish, and it is lechero.
Lechero.
You know what leche means?
Okay, so it's milk.
And ero is, do you know?
Milky.
A person who, a milkman.
A milker.
A milkman, yeah,
Okay.
a milker, a milkman.
Okay. A milkman. And that's that's the literal translation.
And I don't know
of
if it's milkman or to be the milkman.
to be the milkman.
Like you're
okay.
the milkman today, Jared.
Oh, is it like the provider of a family?
No,
Like I bring home the
I could see why you would think that. I love that idiom, by the way. Bring home the bacon. It's a good one.
The old school full version is I bring home the bacon and you cook it. You know?
Is it really?
I don't know.
Well,
But I've heard people say
it is
that
now,
before,
Jared.
and I don't
it is
really
now.
like it.
I don't either. I got my own bacon. I'm gonna eat it, and enjoy it for myself.
I had bacon
Jared.
this morning.
Nice.
Bacon and toast. You know?
Now I really want bacon. We had bacon last week.
We did.
That was great. Anyways, so to be the milkman, let me try to give you another tip. Let's see here. So you know, Jared, I feel like you have a pretty good job right now. I feel like you.
Is it like you're very generous?
Here, let me tell you my
I
example.
love how that's the first thing I think it would go.
So
about me.
you have a good job, but you know, say one day you're checking your email and you get this email saying, you know, we want to hire you for a director position, making $500,000 a year with a company car and health benefits and blah blah blah.
Yes.
And I just say, damn, Jared, you're the milkman.
Oh, is it like just the big daddy ballin'?
You're
ballin'.
lucky. You're
Oh,
lucky.
How dare you?
I meant it like fell in your lap.
No,
You know,
I
you
understand
didn't
what
apply.
you're
It was,
saying.
yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
I would feel pretty lucky if someone emailed me and said, "Hey, we want to make you the director of this place and pay you $500,000 a year." I'd be like, "Cool."
I love both of your untranslatables because I can't connect those. Like why where does the milkman connect in on that? You know,
Right.
I like that. I like when they don't really.
You know the old saying, right?
No,
In English, like if you have a kid and the kid doesn't look like dad,
it's the milkman's kid. Mm-hmm. I've never heard that before.
you've never heard that? Yeah, like it's just kind of a dumb joke. And you're like, "Oh, it must be the milkman's." You've never heard that before, really?
No,
Maybe
that
it's a
sounds
white
like-
people thing. It's
That
probably a
sounds
white
like
people
something
thing.
your parents would say like back in like
Right. Well, yeah, it's
like
old.
the
It's an
60s.
old-fashioned saying for sure. It's old-fashioned, but I think, but this
never
might
heard
be an
that before.
but this might be an old-fashioned type of saying too. That's my
Sure,
whole
which is
point.
surprising because it does kind of sound southern a little bit. I feel like I could
Right.
imagine like my parents teaching me that or something.
Right.
Speaking of which, I think when I think of mentors, first place a lot of people I think go is parents. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you consider your parents to be mentors?
Oh, 100%. I was hoping to actually talk about how they both have mentored me. I definitely look to my dad as a mentor when it comes to weightlifting and working out. You know, he just knows so much stuff from years of experience and everything. So he's a great mentor in that regard.
And
Always
ping
was
pong,
good for
too.
sports. Yep. Ooh, don't be calling it ping pong
Table
around him.
tennis,
Table
excuse
tennis.
me.
You can
What's
call it
wrong with
ping
ping
me.
pong?
Well, there is a difference. I mean, if you look at the Olympics, you don't see ping pong in the Olympics. You see table tennis, right? So basically, the distinction, and I know it's once again being nitpicky, but words do matter, Jared. Words do matter. Ping pong
I'm here to learn.
is what you play in your friend's basement. That's just for fun. There's no technique. There's no form.
Oh, so
There's
ping pong
no-
is like
it's just hitting
it's
the
like
ball
a,
around. It's just
a
leisure.
game.
Right.
Table tennis is a sport.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yep.
So yeah, he like this isn't a hobby for him. He's like, no, I'm playing a
Right.
sport. This
Right.
is not just some fun.
I mean, I've won money at tournaments playing, so I
Yeah.
would say in that regard.
So I sent you those
it's a sport.
that kid that does the trick shots the other day.
that was
Can you do
crazy.
things like that?
No. I have
Okay.
I have a couple buddies though from high school that it's probably still on YouTube. I'll have to ask my friends what they named it, but they did like 3 or 4 videos and they did some amazing trick shots.
Oh, I love a good trick shot.
Yeah, that video was crazy. But yeah, anyways, mentors. Yeah, I would definitely say my parents are mentors. What about you?
I would say so. Yeah. I you know they were rather successful, you know, with in business.
I would say they
And,
are right. I mean, or are they not because
mean,
they're retired?
I mean, they're kind of like semi-retired, I guess.
Okay.
Like they don't like go to an office every day like they used to. And I you know, now that I'm not I respect
Now that you've grown,
I respect how hard that is to do, and also just the idea of, and you know, now that I have money, I definitely. Or like I have money. I'm not rich or anything, but what I mean is like
You
I
can
pay
take
my
care
own
of
bills
yourself
and
financially,
stuff.
right? Right.
Is that it definitely now puts into perspective how much it takes to actually raise a child, you know?
Oh, for sure.
And I'm like, oh, geez, this is like I don't know how you guys do this. Like I don't understand. I don't fully understand.
yeah, it's. I mean, and just the time, the energy, everything. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't. I feel like an important part of calling someone a mentor, and I don't think this is necessary, but I think it is useful, is that you glean information from these people, and that like their go-to sources for information. And I mean, my parents are that for sure, but I don't think I'm good at like having conversations with them about stuff, you know. Like, and I don't think I'm good at like learning from them, like on like in like a active like an active level, you know.
You know what my best piece of unsolicited advice would be for you, Jared?
What's that?
It's just ask the questions. I know
Yeah,
sometimes
I don't do
I know
that.
sometimes I too don't want to bother my parents, but sometimes it's worth it. You know, I've been talking to my parents more about real estate, what they would have done differently about their house. Sometimes I've also been asking my parents a lot about money. Like, you know, this is my salary, this will be
Yeah.
my budget. And as a kid, especially as a teenager, I would have felt really awkward asking my parents. Now I even ask my parents about their own salary, you know, and their own budget, because I view it as this isn't me trying to judge you. It's trying to learn from you and understand how to live a certain quality of life and have a certain standard of life, and how to do that. And I think the key too with a mentor and learning things is a lot of people, I think, assume a mentor needs to be someone who is this super successful or super amazing person. Really, it just needs to be someone who's one or two steps ahead of you, to be honest.
I mean,
you know?
I think it does need to be someone that has more experience than
Well,
you.
absolutely. Well, that's the one or two steps ahead.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, no, I don't. No, by no means do I think it has to be like the, you know, if you work at some company like the CEO or something.
Right.
I don't even think that's the most useful. I think the most useful.
I think the ones that are just a couple.
Yeah, because I feel like
Steps
those
ahead.
people have more actionable understanding of what it takes to.
And where you are, because
Yeah.
they were there more recently.
Yeah, they have a better understanding of what that culture is like.
Yep.
You know, like, you know, maybe if you're a CEO, it's like, yeah, you were like me, 20 years ago.
Right. Well,
but the company's changed a lot.
Exactly. I'll never forget asking my mentor at MSU about the job market. And the thing is he had been at MSU for so many years. It's not really like he had an active stake in the job market.
Sure.
So I was lucky enough to have, he wasn't my advisor, but he was on my PhD committee when I was still a PhD student. So I had a relationship with him. I had a few classes with him. Shout out to Dr. Handelman. He's probably not listening, but shout out anyways. He's a great
mentor.
guy. And he gave me a lot of great advice about the job market, because he got hired at MSU, I think, 1 or 2 years before I started there. So for him, it was very fresh. So he could really tell me, like, this is what you need to expect. And that's why at the time I didn't end up doing a PhD. And now I'm really happy I didn't. I think my career would look very different now if I would have done a PhD, and maybe I wouldn't have regretted it. But I wouldn't have done a fellowship. I wouldn't have done a Fulbright, at least the way I did them now. And so, but that type of mentorship was crucial for me to really understand what I needed to do to make the proper decision for my life.
Yeah.
And it's difficult when you feel like you're floating. Even if you go to school, and tune into our next episode, what we wish we knew about college, to hear more about this kind of stuff. But sometimes I feel like a lot of people feel like they're floating through life without any purpose or vision or goals. And that's where a mentor can be very handy.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now that I think about it, I think one place I do go to my parents a lot for is work-related stuff.
Absolutely.
And not even about,
And I think
like,
your parents give you great advice, don't they? Because you've told me some stuff they told you.
For sure. And it's not even like the nitty-gritty of like how to do a job. A lot of the advice I get is like the interpersonal stuff.
Yeah.
Because they at least it feels like they're kind of similar to me, where they're not very social, especially in a work environment. And it's like, and it is sort of like, I do feel like I'm relying them a lot these days on like finding that balance between, not exposing everything about yourself to your coworkers, having
Right.
some sort of line there.
Sure,
but
you
then
need a
also,
balance.
But then also, you kind of have to establish relationships and friendships to progress and to get and that's kind of part of the
and making connections. Absolutely.
And so like how do you make friends but then also sort of
keep
protect
that
yourself
work
a little
distance,
bit.
right? Yeah.
And so that I think I do go to them a lot these days. So how many mentors do you think you have in your life right now?
Currently in my life, well, it depends how we define mentor, because if we count our parents, and that's 2 right off the bat.
Sure.
I have a friend that I would say is kind of a bit of a business mentor. We actually had a Zoom call yesterday, talked to him for about an hour. That was really good.
Is this the guy that owns houses?
No, that's somebody else.
Okay.
Another mentor though, as well. I also.
How do you find these people? Well, what do you mean you just have a call like this, like talking about like strategy and stuff?
Future business ideas, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, because he runs some online businesses, and I'm hoping to get into that in the future.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you seek these people out, like they're your friends to a certain extent.
Well, so he is actually
or
a friend.
Acquaintances, maybe.
Well, he's actually was a former colleague and really close friend of my dad's. So I've known him for years.
But he's not your friend. He's more your dad's friend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's
okay.
My dad's friend, yeah.
So, interesting. So you're actually actively seeking these people out and being like, "Hey, can I sit down with you for a bit, or virtually sit down with you for a bit and chat?"
I would also view Jason Moritz, our homie from Albion, our professor when we had our freshman year.
The fact that you even communicate with this guy blows my mind.
Yeah, and we're actually going to have we had a call, we had a Google Hangout a couple weeks ago, and we're going to have one next week. So
when this thing ends, like I guess we should ask him to be on the podcast or something.
We should. That'd be fun. He's a great guy, and he's spent time abroad. He'd be a good one to talk about too, in just the state of teaching in Michigan as well, because he really knows his stuff. But and I would view some of my advisors from grad school. I'm not really in contact with them now very often, but if I needed advice or needed help, I could. I've definitely contacted them for like job stuff. Should I apply to this place? Should I do this on my CV? Stuff like that. So shout out to Dustin DeFelice at MSU at the English Language Center, and also Dr. Zenta Gertler and Dr. Paula Winke. I guess I should say Dr. Dustin DeFelice as well. He's a doctor too. But anyways,
here dropping bombs.
Well, these have all been great mentors.
I feel like we're on a hip hop podcast.
Right. That's right. That's right. That's right. We're actually changing the name to the Mentor-latable podcast for this episode.
Shout out to my homie, Dr. Ziegler.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess that's the thing about a mentor too, is you don't have to like.
And I don't think mentors are a permanent thing. I think some mentors, yes, you might have in your life for the rest of your life. But other mentors, you have a mentor for this thing
while you're at maybe different jobs,
right? And I look at music teachers. All my guitar teachers I've had in the past, they were definitely mentors, and they helped me out with a lot more than just guitar and music.
Have you ever asked someone to be your mentor officially?
No, I don't think there's ever been like a sit down and like, you are my mentor.
Do you think you do you think not you? No, I'm asking you specifically. Right. Do you think? But do you think that's a useful step for someone to take when finding a mentor? Is sort of like making it official rather than just knowing you have people that you can sort of, and obviously if especially like a long-term family friend like your dad's friend or whatever, maybe you don't need to go there's really no point in you going through that professional sort of, will you be my mentor,
right?
It's not like this person's ever going to hire you for anything or anything like that. But do you ever
that's not why you have a mentor. Like if you're looking at having a mentor to get hired somewhere, I mean,
but I definitely think that people obviously get mentors in order to sort of learn how to progress their career. Like that's that's a major part of having a mentor,
right? And progress their life too, not just their career.
And so I think part of it, at least for me, especially with the way I function, part of having a mentor is just having that relationship, because and so part of it so the reason I talk about the sort of making it official is because I'm so bad at asking for help, and I'm so bad at asking, especially people, like I'm bad at asking my parents for help,
right?
But let alone people that I don't know, anywhere close to as well as I know my parents. like it's hard for me to ask for help. So when I see maybe like at my company, every now and again, various groups within my company will do sort of initiatives where like we're setting up mentorship programs. Sign up now. We'll pair you with someone else, and you'll get a mentor. And I like those sort of programs because the structure of them makes it a little bit less awkward for me to ask for that help,
Right?
Because it's
It's implied,
and so it's implied that like this is what you're signing up for. So granted, I'm still bad at it, especially now, and I've said this so many other times, and I still haven't reached out to him. And I've said this is probably the third week in a row that I've said that I need to do that, but I like that sort of official nature to it, and saying like this is my mentor, this person, and now we're gonna have. And like there's some structure around. Let's try to meet once a month for lunch or whatever.
Sure.
And I think part of that is for professional advice of someone that's been in this company, and that's one of those ones too that sort of sometimes seem like it can obviously turn into a longer term better relationship, but that definitely seems sort of like job specific too, like someone to help navigate you through the job that's not your immediate sort of person that you work with. But like I feel like I'm partly doing that also in an attempt to get to know other people in the industry, and in my company, especially my company's gigantic. So like this guy can work at the company, and I have zero interaction with him ever in any sort of capacity.
Right.
Like that's very possible. So so getting to know people in completely different organizations seems very
smart,
like strategically
very smart.
Even though you don't want to. You're not just using people to get ahead in your specific company,
Right. So back to your question though, Jared. Should you ask someone, or should you be direct about that? I think the nice thing about that is that it already does set some boundaries. I think.
Yes.
And I think that is a good thing because it shows your intention, it shows their intention. Whereas, if you're kind of navigating this, well, you're my friend, but you're my mentor. I think in one, I've had relationships where it is where it has become it started off as kind of acquaintances and then like a mentorship, like with my dad's friend, right? Like I've talked to him probably for a few years now about online businesses and stuff like this, and so it's really been helpful and I've learned a lot. I need to start doing. The thing is, I've been doing a lot of learning and not enough doing, but that's the beauty of also having a mentor is they can tell you, all right, we've done these things. I've taught you this. You've learned this. Now you go do it, and I'm here to help you because there will be hiccups, there will be drawbacks, there will be mistakes. So it's really key to have that mentor there. And when you have that more defined, you're my mentor, then I think it is a bit more clear. Whereas if it's someone who's kind of your friend but also kind of your mentor, then it does get a little muddier. You know, because
I'm definitely good at talking about it, not good at doing it.
Right. I think it's just a lot easier. It's always easier to talk about something instead of doing it.
Of course.
But especially now, Jared, we're still in this pandemic in the States. To all of our listeners out there in Europe and Asia and places where they're not, we're very envious of you.
I mean, they're still in the pandemic.
I mean, they are, but not to the level where we are.
They're handling it a little better.
Anyways, I think now it's important to view mentorship in a different light, Jared. I think a lot of people view mentorship as, like you said, and it's not bad, to go have lunch with someone once a month or have a Zoom call once a week. I think that's perfectly fine.
To be fair,
that's good.
I sort of have a very old school approach to like business anyway. Like I'm definitely on sort of like your very
you're in the more corporate world.
I'm on like a very traditional corporate track right now.
Whereas I am the opposite.
Right.
You and I work-wise couldn't be more different, really.
That's very true.
Which I think is what's kind of cool to talk about on the podcast. But anyways, I think we have to open our minds and expand our minds to what is mentorship and how we can receive mentorship.
Sure.
Because information is so accessible now. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's good information or it's helpful information for you, or you even know how to get that information.
There are a lot of sources.
Right. But that's why I think having a good mentor is key. And places where I think you can find good mentors now are places like, this is going to sound really old school, but books. Read some damn books, people. Read the first book I would recommend, and the first mentor I would recommend is Dale Carnegie. Read the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
So what you're saying essentially is that a mentor doesn't even have to be someone you know.
No, it can be a book.
I guess that's fair. Mm-hmm. Well, like I would say a lot of people look up to celebrities. Sometimes sometimes I think that's dangerous.
I don't think that, and I don't think celebrities. I don't think that's mentorship. I think that's a path of success, which is different.
But people wanting to emulate someone's
Right.
path to success is not a mentor thing. Where it's like even like for example, Kevin Hart. He seems like he's taking a real hard turn, and I don't have any hate or problem with Kevin Hart.
Right.
But he seems like he's taken a hard turn now into like the sort of motivational guy, the
Right.
sort of positive, and like this is how
Seems like it, yeah.
I'm a work hard kind of guy.
Right. Well, I mean, he has a bunch of different businesses.
Yeah, he has like
and-
48 businesses. He's in like 6 different new movies. He's got a new
Right.
comedy special coming out. He's got 14 kids.
Dude's on his grind.
Yeah,
right?
like,
Dude is on his
so
grind. for
he
sure.
has a book, you know. He
right.
so like I mean, I understand that. You know, he wants to. You know, I get it. But like I could imagine a lot of people looking at being like, oh yeah, like his. Like he like that's sort of a mentor. It's like maybe I'm not a comedian, maybe I'm not an actor, but I want to, or even someone like Jay-Z. You know, maybe I'm not a
Sure.
rapper, but I want to be able to like have multiple different streams of revenue, multiple different like endeavors and
Right.
interests that I'm focusing on. You know,
I think though the thing is that
granted they're also rich. That helps.
emulating celebrities is different than. I don't know if a celebrity.
How is that
or-
different
or-
than emulating or following the teachings of Dale Carnegie and a book that he wrote?
right a long time ago?
And
Well,
it's not a science book, is it? What is it?
Well, it is and it isn't.
Okay.
It's an anecdotal book about. I think I don't remember how long. I thought he said it took him anywhere from 10 to 20 years to write the book, but he
But
basically
it's still got his feelings and
Well, it's his compilation of talking to really successful and wealthy people and how they run their businesses. He looked at this really at first as a business kind of thing. But then what he realized is that really the whole way to get any business or have any success in life is you have to be able to have friends or connections and be able to influence people. And influence is not manipulate, but influence is know how to build a relationship and a rapport with someone and bring value and help into their life. And usually, in turn, they can bring some value or help into your life. Now, the difference between emulating a celebrity and looking at a celebrity and reading a book like that is that a celebrity, it's going to be a biography and their story. And yes, there are bits and pieces you can take. But the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, it's written specifically with the purpose and intent to teach you these things and these qualities, these principles.
Right.
Whereas a biography about a celebrity, I think you have to pull those principles out yourself.
sure.
And not everyone, I think, is always good at doing that. And not everyone
That's
also...
true. For of course, you know, obviously there's so many people that look at some sort of celebrity and
Right.
they want to emulate what that celebrity would think is the completely wrong part of
Correct.
what makes them who they are.
And emulating something isn't doing something in a clear way, I don't think. When I think of a mentor, I think of someone who gives you a plan, tells you, all right, we're going to meet
Yeah.
next month, or even if it's not someone we're meeting you, but the book says, do these 3 or 4 things by next week.
When I think of a mentor, I really think of someone that teaches you. Like, I think it's even less about teaching you how to do the job, and it's more like someone that teaches you how to navigate your industry or navigate the politics or like best sort of approach people and
Yeah.
approach your
Yeah.
your like all right, this is how you should react. You should interact with I don't know, the senior engineers if you want to get them to do to work with you or whatever. I don't know, something
Right.
like that. Like, I don't even think of it as someone that's actively helping you with like all right, here this is how you do an Excel sheet. Like
Right. Well, and see, that's the thing. I think a mentor, it's more about...
guidance,
Yes.
long-term guidance,
long-term guidance, reaching your goals. Whereas a basic thing like learning how to do things you can do on your own to some extent. Whereas a mentor is the one that will mesh that whatever you're learning and bring you to a higher level, right? So
bring it into reality,
right? So let's use music as an example, right? I've worked as a guitar teacher. I loved it. It was great. Really, I would love to do it again at some point. To be honest,
My partner is slowly getting back into guitar.
nice. If she wants some Zoom lessons, let me know.
Well, we
can Zoom her.
We've talked about it, and she seems like she would waste your time.
Fair enough.
But she's doing like YouTube ones, and I'm like, I don't know. I think it's better with a person.
It is, but the other thing is, and once again, this is the difference between just learning and having a mentor, is that you can learn guitar videos on YouTube till the cows come home, right? And I think there's a lot you can learn, and you probably will be able to improve. But unless you have someone who also, I think a mentor also helps you recognize your weak points and your sticking points, and helps you get through those and helps you grow. Whereas when you just learn on your own...
And you get rid of the bad habits with a mentor.
Right. Like a lot of guitar players, for example, if you sit like you see on TV, which you have the guitar on your right leg if you're playing right-handed, you have the bout of the guitar, which is the curve, on your right leg and on your right thigh, right, Jared? Well, when you do this naturally, what happens is you kind of slouch and your shoulders aren't in an even position. Especially if it's an acoustic, you're going to be kind of downwards like this. So your right shoulder is up and your left shoulder is facing more down. And sitting in that position for any period of time is bad for your body.
Posture is key for any instrument.
Right. For life in general, really.
That's
I mean,
true.
If you're slouched,
for your body.
I notice when I write on my laptop for too long, if I'm slouched, I just can't focus as much if I'm sitting back and writing better.
When I had a piano teacher, I definitely noticed that it's less, like as far as relying on her, it was less about her actually teaching me how to play the music, like learning the notes of it. Like every now and again, it's like, oh, what does this musical symbol mean?
Right, sure.
But it was more about her just like working out the habits. Like when I went to the lessons, it was about her calling me out every time. I don't know, my wrist was not properly,
right? Because you want it to be able to like
every time every time my fingers were too flat and not curled.
Right.
Like it was mostly just like drilling into me those bad habits that just
drilling them out of you.
Yeah, excuse me.
Drilling them out of you.
That's very true. That my body was just naturally doing.
Right. But see, and that's the point of a mentor, right? Is you could have taken YouTube, piano lessons all the time, but
they don't call you out for mistakes.
Correct. Exactly. And so the whole point is that I think a mentor really is kind of a dot connector. Because they've lived through it. They've been through it, right? I've been playing guitar now, starting when I was 10, so 18 years, right? I've been playing guitar longer than my nephews have been alive, right? And so, and I gave my nephews a guitar. I was really hoping they would pick it up and I would be able to teach them something. It hasn't happened yet. We'll see. They're also... I really got into it when I was a teenager. I started at 10. Really at 10, it was just kind of basic hobby, kind of went to lessons once a week, didn't really practice. But I became a teenager, and that's when I got more into music.
Maybe once they start trying to attract mates more.
Well, for me, it wasn't about girls. It was it was Stevie Ray Vaughan. I was a battery. For me, it was Steve. I'll keep talking then. I'll keep rambling for a minute. You have another battery, right? So for me, though, Jared, for guitar, it was Stevie Ray Vaughan and Led Zeppelin. Like those were the two groups that the sound blew me away, and the music was just on another level. And so for me, I was 12 or 13, and that's kind of when that started to happen. When
do they count as mentors?
Good question. I would say, nope. I would say they're an influencer and not a mentor, because once again, you can't really. They're not guiding you from point A to point B. It's not like I can call up Jimmy Page, the guitar player from Led Zeppelin, and be like, "Hey, I've been working on this solo. Can you give me some feedback on it?" Right? That would be a mentor type thing.
I agree.
Now you can emulate, you can influence, have those influences.
They're just a celebrity essentially.
Right.
They're no different than Kevin Hart.
Exactly. Whereas you really need that someone, like I said, to be that dot connector, to be that person where okay, this is my career trajectory, or this is what I want to accomplish as a musician. These are my fitness goals. And I think, Jared, in life, people should have at least 4 or 5 different types of mentors. So let's talk about those. Number one, I think everyone needs to have some type of educational or academic mentor. And now these are easy to come by in theory because you have lots of teachers. You have lots of older brothers, sisters, cousins, mom and dad. These could all be technically an educational mentor. This is someone who teaches you and hopefully teaches you and instills in you, and I'm not sure if it's possible to really instill this in you, but instill the love of learning. Maybe I'm crazy for even saying this, Jared, because maybe the love of learning needs to be intrinsic, meaning that it just comes from within, where someone doesn't. But I think some people you have to encourage them enough to the point where they realize, oh, I like learning.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And learning is sort of or like the ability.
You might want to put this up somewhere. It looks like my parents gave her a bath.
Yeah, I was wondering that. I was like, why does your dog look so wet?
Right. Finally got a bath.
The ability. Okay, I can put this here.
Yeah, for sure.
The ability, like, to learn, sort of does have to be cultivated. Like people aren't just naturally.
And also enjoying learning.
Yes,
Enjoying it. Yeah.
And so you sort of have to teach someone that learning can be fun. And that you don't just only get fun from like your devices or games and stuff. And then
games and devices, that's fast and easy fun.
Right.
I think the real
you
fun.
sound like a real nerd.
I know, right? I think the real fun. She's fine. I think the real fun is when you like I finished a couple music projects yesterday for a buddy's company.
Mm-hmm.
And just this feeling of I had to figure out and learn this melody. I had played it on guitar, so I knew the notes, but I just got this new little MIDI keyboard, and so I wanted to play it on piano because it just sounded more clear, right? And I had to learn it on piano. I'm a shitty piano player, but just that accomplishment, that feeling of satisfaction and of happiness for learning it, but I was enjoying it while I was doing it, right? So anyways, educational mentor, that's number one. I think number two, you need to have some type of coach. When I say coach, I mean sports or fitness coach or mentor. And I don't mean...
Sport?
Yeah, and I don't mean your Instagram influencer who has a six-pack.
Sean T?
Right. I don't know who that is, but sure.
It's funny because that's exactly who...
Okay. But
he's the guy that does like Insanity, the Insanity
Oh, that guy.
workout.
Okay, yeah.
He's really funny on Instagram.
But when I mean a sports or like a fitness mentor, ideally this is going to be someone who you can dude's in very good shape.
Yeah, he's in very good shape.
But someone who can work out with you or can help you with your workouts. Whereas,
so someone that motivates you
right.
to... Okay.
Because look, I have nothing against these fitness programs like Insanity or P90X. I think they're great. Any program out there that gets people off their ass and moving, I think is wonderful.
Sure, of course.
But at the same time, if you do Insanity for years, it's probably going to get old and you will need other fitness goals.
Yeah.
So you can peruse the internet and find all sorts of great stuff on there. But what I think is even better is to have someone to bounce ideas off of, someone who has more experience, who's in better shape than you. You like mountain biking. So for you, it would be get involved in some type of mountain biking group.
That's funny. I hate mountain biking with other people because I always feel like I'm going to slow them down.
Yeah, well, but if you have someone who's a better mountain biker than you and you approach them and tell them, look, this is so you know what you're getting into, you might be surprised. And
I guess so.
What happens is
I've had people invite me along and I'm like, maybe, I'll probably slow you down. Like and it comes up and I just never bring it up again.
But here's the thing.
I don't want to go with other people.
Here's the thing. If you tell them I might
myself.
If you tell them though, I might slow you down and they say come anyways, honestly, Jared, I'm going to challenge you right now. Take it up upon yourself to just go with them.
I mean, it hasn't happened since I lived in Philadelphia.
Right.
But.
Oh, I see. Okay. But I mean, worst case scenario, you slow them down and then you never mountain bike with them again.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the risk is pretty low. But
embarrass myself for a day.
Right. Could be a whole lot worse. I think that the risk to reward there, the reward is so much higher. Right. I mean, first of all, you're getting a good workout. That's already a great benefit. Number two, you might be able to learn more or grow as a mountain biker.
It's easier to push yourself, too, when you have someone that's faster than you.
Right. Well, I mean, and I can tell you lifting with my dad has been really, really helpful because I'm not afraid. If I want to throw more weight on there, he's down there.
Yeah.
When I was lifting by myself at Albion, there were a lot of times where I had to be much more cautious with my lifts and my workouts because I was by myself.
That's definitely crossed my mind, mountain biking.
If you fall and get hurt, what
a lot
happens?
of the places I live are, I drive to go mountain biking.
Right.
And it's like, what happens if I, break my leg or even or I don't know, sprain my ankle? Like, and how am I supposed to drive my manual car home?
Right.
If one of my legs is incapacitated.
Right.
I was like, I'm just be stranded out here. So maybe I would even feel a little more comfortable to take more chances if I didn't think I'd be stranded in the woods.
Yeah. Okay, so we talked about educational, sports, and fitness, I think is a big one. And this other one could be kind of a subgenre of that or its own if you want. But also I think it's smart to have some type of, and this is a mentor I need to seek out, is a nutrition mentor. I do not eat properly. I'm sure I don't. I mean, I definitely get enough protein, not eating enough veggies, not eating enough fruits. But whole point here is it's good to have a mentor. For
I feel like you don't need a mentor for that.
you don't think so?
I feel like it's just. I'm not saying it could hurt.
Well, let me put it this way, Jared. I think if I had, maybe a food mentor would be a better way to put this. Nutrition or food, because for me, I think the issue for me, at least with food, is I don't enjoy cooking for myself.
Right.
I hate to cook. I don't know why. I just don't like it. And when I do cook for myself, it makes me crazy. I cook for myself. I make whatever I'm making, and then by the time the food's ready, I don't even want to eat it. I don't know why, but I'm just like, I did all this work, and now I'm going to eat all this food. I feel like my work was kind of for nothing, I guess, which is kind of stupid because, you're making food to eat it. That's the point.
Yeah.
But for me, it would be really helpful to have some type of cooking or food mentor where I don't even know where to begin in terms of like what ingredients might go together well. I have a basic idea, but I'm not a chef. You have much more experience. Like, you would honestly be a good food or cooking mentor for me, I think.
Yeah. I guess so.
Not that you'd want to do that, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I actually haven't cooked new stuff in a while. Like, I still cook all the time, but I've definitely really gone into like a habit of certain things.
But imagine if you did have someone that you had that kind of cooking buddy where you were like, they, be like, yeah, I have some of these ingredients, or I just want to try something new, and then they'll be like, oh, we'll try this, this, and this. You know what I mean?
Well, I do have that, I guess. I can definitely
Your partner?
No, my dad. I could definitely.
Okay.
He's not just a good chef, like cook or chef, but he's like into all he like reads cookbooks for fun and stuff like that.
But see, that's a great mentor to have, I think. So education, fitness, food or nutrition. I think a business or a career one is really, really important.
Interesting. I wasn't expecting to come at it from so many different angles. Like when I first thought about it, I really only thought about like either life, like someone that's sort of like a parent or something that guides you through life, and then someone that guides you through business.
Oh, and I haven't even talked about all the different plentiful opportunities to find a mentor, Jared. But anyways, so career or business, I think, is crucial. And I think for anyone who's thinking about going into the teaching profession, these will most likely be your advisors in graduate school or in undergrad if you're just doing a bachelor's in education. And also probably some senior teacher you will start working with in some capacity. Those tend to be, at least from what I've seen.
I would say personally, from what I've seen in the corporate world, it's not that you can't look up to your boss, but I don't think your boss makes a good mentor. Especially because your boss is not someone that you can really realistically have open conversation about your boss with. You can't talk about like it's hard to be open and honest to your boss. Like I don't know. I don't think they're
I think with a mentor there is a level of vulnerability.
Yes,
and
there
you
has
can't
to be,
really do that with your boss.
There has to be some level where you can like speak freely about whatever that area might be. So you like if it's a professional one, to a certain extent, you have to be able to speak freely about what's on your mind and what's your challenge, what's challenging you about your job. And if it is your boss, that can get a little awkward to have to do that. And it's hard to get mentor advice about dealing with your boss from your boss. Maybe they can acknowledge it and do stuff about it, but that's not really like, I don't know, that's a little different.
That's a complicated relationship.
Yeah.
And plus, your boss may not be well suited to be your mentor. They might not have the time. They might not be a good mentor.
A lot of people don't like their boss. I like my boss. But
New topic idea. What makes a good mentor? I'll send it to you.
Isn't that what we're doing right now?
No, we're talking about why you need a mentor.
Oh, okay.
No, not what makes a good one. Because I think that's a different conversation, especially depending on the type of mentor you are. If you're an educational one, a career one, a sports one, fitness one, I think they're different. Anyways.
Do you consider yourself to be a mentor, Chad?
I do, yeah. I mean, I've helped colleagues of mine. I've helped students of mine. Yeah, I mean, I've written recommendation letters for graduate schools.
Oh, really?
I would say
for
that's
students. You mean graduate students?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I would say that is coming into
Are they
the
like
mentor
kids
realm.
you've taught in undergrad that come to you?
Yeah, kids that students I taught in graduate school. They were undergraduate students applying for graduate programs. I was still a teaching assistant at MSU.
Oh, okay.
But I've stayed in contact with a few of them still throughout all these years. Not a ton of them, but a few of them. So yeah, I would say to some regard I've been a mentor, and I really enjoy it. I think that the most fulfilling thing about being a mentor is seeing people realize their potential, because we have a lot of beliefs and perceptions that limit our potential, Jared. And so a mentor, I think, allows you to break down some of those barriers and helps you push yourself more, achieve more goals. But anyways, yeah, so business or education one. And the last one, my number 5, Jared, my number 5, last one for you is a life mentor. And when I say a life mentor, I mean someone that kind of encapsulates bits and pieces of all of those, but has more of a focus on your well-being and your relationships.
So is that more of a friend, but maybe like a friend with
I would say
like
an older friend. Yeah, for sure. Like if you're a male listening to this, find someone who is 10, 15 years older than you, because they have more life experience, more work experience, more relationship experience. They probably have either been married for a long time or married and divorced. They can tell you, they can tell you, look, your partner would be a great wife, or be very careful. You know, and I think it's important, because it's always important to get a view, a third opinion, or second or third opinion from someone who has a bit more of a neutral viewpoint, but also has more experience and has gone through it.
Yeah, but it's hard to give relationship advice to a friend. I don't know.
You think so?
I don't think so. Like it would be. Would you not? If you didn't like my partner, would you have no problem?
Oh, I'd tell you.
Oh, really?
I'd tell you. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. If I didn't like her, if I didn't think she was good for you, you're also a very good friend of mine. If you were someone that I saw once in a while, some of my buddies from high school, I wouldn't. It's not worth it.
Sure.
It's not worth it to me to get in an argument. Whereas with you, I'm genuinely, I want you to live a good life. I mean, sure, I want everyone to live a good life, but
right.
But you and I were close friends. It's
you feel
different.
like you have more of a vested.
Right.
Yeah, I understand
right.
what you're saying.
I sure as hell would hope you would also tell me and be like, look,
sure.
man, I don't know if she's right for you. And at the end of the day, I think when your friends tell you something like that, it's also not, I would never tell you that with the intent to say you need to break up with your partner, but it's just, I've seen these red flags. I don't know if you've seen them.
Concerning.
Right.
I get that.
But yeah, but I think a life mentor is a big one. And a lot of people, I think, get this life mentorship in many ways through a parent or an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent.
But I think it's interesting that she's talked about like education and stuff, because I feel like a parent to me is not the ideal. I think it's stuck to the bottom of the.
It is, thankfully. It is, yeah.
I don't think the parent is the best, because much like I think to me it's kind of like this, for the same reason why it's not great to have your boss as a professional mentor, because I feel like as a life mentor, talking about parents and family can be a big part of it for a lot of people, and a lot of people obviously have complicated relationships with their family,
sure,
and complicated personal lives and stuff like that.
Right.
So I think that a parent might be a go-to for someone, but sometimes I do
need to be careful.
I do side eye sometimes those people that are like, my mom is my best friend, or like my dad is my best friend. It's like, I don't know. It's like that. I mean, it's healthy, obviously, to have a good relationship with them,
but they're not your friends. They're your parents, and you're their kids.
My parents have actually, when I was a kid, especially my dad, but both of them really made it very clear that they were not my friends.
Yeah,
that they were my parents.
Yeah. I remember my mom telling me the same thing.
They made that very clear.
But I think honestly, and this is to no disrespect to the people out there who do have the philosophy that you can be friends with your kids. If that's your philosophy and you really believe it, I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, but I can tell you from close family who have treated their kids like friends and not like their kids, have grown up with a lot more. Actually, yeah. One of my cousins is an alcoholic. Sorry to get dark here, Jared, but yeah.
Really ruined my joke.
And sorry. But there is some truth to it. I mean, and it's hard to say that could be just genetics too. But I think some of it is that when you have a relationship with your kids, and I can only
coddled,
right, and I can only speak as the child to parent because because I don't have any kids now.
Sure,
but I'm glad my parents aren't my friends.
Yeah, me too.
They're my parents. I have my own friends, but that's why I think it's good to meet someone who is a bit older.
I think a cousin might be good for that.
Yeah, cousins are great.
I have some cousins that are a good bit older than me, and they're sort of maybe like 20, 25 years older than me, because my mom is the youngest of a bunch of people. Right. And they're in sort of that weird place where we definitely I respect them and I look up to them because they are obviously more established adults than I am. But also, we sort of have a friendlier relationship than I would with my parents, and I can kind of talk to them a little bit more like I would you,
Right.
than I probably would with my parents.
Sure. Yeah. And the nice thing is though is there is a ton of places where you can find people. I mean, yes, you're gonna have to pay them, but I don't think it's necessarily like when
Pay who? What are you talking about?
a mentor. Pay someone to be your mentor. I don't think that's the best.
Oh
way to do
yeah,
that. Uh-huh.
Don has Don. He pays for a mentor.
I'm sure he does.
Like it's sort of like a business coach.
Right.
Of some,
See?
yeah.
It's a business mentor. Yeah. And there are a lot of people out there who do this now, and it's actually a pretty profitable business. But I think at the same time, I don't think that's actually a waste of money. I think if that person is really helping you and making you, if the person is making you stick to your goals and you're actually progressing, I don't think it's a waste of money.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess so. That's fair. I find it a little ridiculous. But when you put it that way,
you pay
I don't.
A personal trainer.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same
It's kind
thing.
of like paying like a professional therapist,
Right.
like a business therapist
Yeah.
almost.
Or or a music teacher. You pay a music
Yeah,
teacher.
that's true.
They're still kind of a mentor. I would say.
But I don't know. I would be so. I guess I'd have to know. They have to be qualified though.
Sure.
Like these have to be people who are like then I'd have some sort of expectation of a certain level of success.
Sure. Of course.
Or it's like if you're to the point where you can sign up and have me pay you, like you better have made some pretty big leaps and bounds in your own industry.
I would imagine they do. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in business. But
so you got to be
wrong.
that seems like a position where you got to be like it's also kind of an age thing. Like you got to at least be in like your 40s or something. I feel like.
I would disagree. I think, and I've seen a lot of really good YouTube channels targeted towards not really kids, but I would say like older teenagers, because I think there's not a ton. I think the type of guidance that teens seek, especially like I'm thinking of myself at 16, 17, 18, 19, right? The things that the advice I needed at the time, I didn't really get from school counselors. I didn't get it from teachers.
No.
I mean, I got some of it from my parents, but a lot of it was from, actually one of them was from my guitar teacher at the time. He was this older dude, kind of a hippie guy, really, really nice guy, really smart guy. And, he gave me a lot of great life advice, things, and a lot of it was him putting himself. Now, he was an older guy, but my whole point here is there are YouTube channels of guys in their early to mid 20s. And I haven't really checked for I'm sure there are girls out there too that are, their target audience is, the late teens, mid to late teens.
Are you talking about like the stuff that our friend Max does, that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Well, that's pickup artistry. I mean,
oh,
I'll
is
just come
it?
out and say it. Yeah. That. Now he's branched off more into consulting and coaching. You're right.
Okay.
But he got his start
I don't like that.
in pickup artistry. Yeah.
Insult them first and then follow up with a compliment.
But yeah. So anyways, though, I do think that I don't think you have to be. I think, yes, it gives you more social proof and validation if you're in your 40s and you have all these clients. Sure. But that brings me to the last thing I wanted to talk about today regarding mentors, which is where to find them. Books was one. The first one I mentioned, very easy. But YouTube, and there's just so much content out there. It's very easy to find someone. And I mean, if you just go on YouTube and type in relationship coach or fitness coach or nutritionist or whatever, you will find thousands probably of different people. Now the difficulty becomes, how do you make sure the person is the right fit for you, and all that stuff? And I think
you enjoy a good YouTube coach.
Oh man,
you're always looking for YouTube advice.
I am. I love YouTube. Dude. I mean, I think some of it was I was kind of deprived from YouTube while I was in China. Like I could watch it, but it was difficult. It lagged. It was a pain in the ass. Yeah. And dude, if I would have gotten my TV to work sooner, I don't think I would have watched YouTube while I was in China, because I had American shows on there and it just had Chinese subtitles. So I could have watched it earlier. But anyways, I didn't have Wi-Fi. And anyways, so yeah, but YouTube I think is a great source for a lot of people, and you can easily get into contact with a lot of different coaches. And there's so much great free information out there. I would say look for the free information first. And if you can find solid content from someone where you say, I really am going through this, This person, really will be able to give me a plan and help me. Book a coaching call, but also be careful because there are scammers out there. There are people just trying to sell you stuff. But there are a lot of different relationship coaches out there. There's lots of different life coaches. I really personally believe everyone should have some type of life coach or mentor that helps you stay on track a little bit. Because
who's yours? Do you think you have one?
I think I don't have one specific life one, but I think the ones that I have in my
gotcha.
kind of piece it together. But I would like to have one that I go to. I have a person in mind, but right now I just couldn't afford it. I can tell you his coaching calls are very expensive.
Oh, you meant someone to actually pay.
Yeah.
Do you? I can imagine you becoming a mentor or like a.
I'd love it.
Like the Big Brother program or something like that, where you take a little kid around.
Yeah, but there's issues with that. Sadly, society
looks bad. So you look like a creep.
Exactly, and it's a shame because a lot of these Big Brother programs they've lost funding, they've lost participation, they've lost Big Brothers because think about it, dude. Would you feel comfortable walking around with a 6, 7, 8, 9? I don't know how old these kids are.
Right.
Kid
picking them up for the day.
Right, and
yeah, okay.
Especially now it would be different with the pandemic going on. But after the pandemic, if you go out in public with this kid, I also worry too. Like, what if me as a white guy, I have an Asian kid or a Hispanic kid or a black kid.
Do you think you're kidnapping the kid?
Well, people
that actually does happen. Like with whether it's like a mixed race kid or like an adopted kid or something. Like the parent is getting it's like, hey, is this your kid? Are you okay, little girl?
Right.
It's like, this is my daddy.
So, but I do think we do need to provide better mentorship for children because there are so many families out there where. And I'm not disparaging single fathers or single mothers, but it's a single mom or a single dad. They just can't do everything and fulfill a child's needs. Mm-hmm. They if they're working all the time, they're never at home. So how can you mentor somebody and help someone and raise someone when you're physically not there? Yeah, you know what I mean.
It's hard to give your child everything.
But I think
you want to.
Exactly. But I think it's really important that and I'm glad we had this conversation. I think mentorship and having a mentor is really important. I 100% would not be here where I am today otherwise. And I doubt you would be either.
Probably not. You're probably right. Yeah. And I definitely, especially now that, as I said before, that I'm in the working world, now more than ever, I really appreciate like sort of how my parents trained me. It almost feels like sometimes, and how that turned out. It's like now it makes sense, where it's like sometimes you can resent some of that stuff, or it's like, oh, they were hard on you, but it's like, oh, I guess this is sort of real life though. So
right. Well, the other thing is too is I remember my parents telling me when I was younger, you'll understand when you're older. And at the time I didn't, and now I totally do. But anyways, let's get to our song of the pod real quick. This has been a longer episode, but it's been a fun one. Our song of the pod today is by they rap in French. I'm not sure if they're actually from France or not, but it is the artist is named Hatik, and the song is called Angela. So it starts off with kind of these. What kind of vibes would you give it, Jared?
It sounds like it's gonna be chill. It sounds like it's gonna be like maybe some sort of chill hop or whatever they call it.
Lo-fi hip hop? Is this lo-fi? You think? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. It just sounds like it's gonna be chill.
But yeah, so just to set the scene for all of the people listening out there,
is that the guy?
Looks
his
like
hair
it,
is glorious.
He does have great hair. He got a cool little stash. Dude is jacked.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude is
a
jacked.
beautiful man. I'm not.
He's a good-looking guy for sure. But yeah. So the song starts off though with just kind of these synth, kind of spacey vibes in the background, and this kind of auto-tune-ish, half rap, half singing, and then this almost kind of reggaeton little beat.
Yeah.
That beat comes in.
That's yes.
When he raps, and it kind of builds a little bit, and it kind of goes and ebbs and flows, I feel like, Jared. But the chorus is pretty good.
I like it. It's very... It makes me want to go like, hey.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Well, it's got that reggaeton beat.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because the initial vibe of the song is not very like it's, when I say it's not dancey, it's not like dancing fast. It would be more like like moving around real slowly.
But now
on the
this
dance
really
floor.
goads you to move.
Right. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
That reggaeton.
But it does
beat.
sound very like European too.
Yeah, it does. It does. It doesn't sound Latin.
No.
Even though reggaeton, this beat itself comes from more Latin. I think it's, I want to say it's either Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico is where that beat came from. I could be wrong. But it sounds really cool in French.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a slight auto-tune. I'm not usually a huge fan of auto-tune, but here it does sound kind of cool.
Yeah,
Adds
and it's
to the
not
vibe
heavy.
of the song. No, it's really not.
Good choice, Chad. Hey,
Yeah.
did you hear the new WAP? We'll talk about it next episode.
Sounds good. So check that out on our YouTube channel, Untranslatable Podcast. Song on the Pod playlist. The artist is Hatik, and the song is called Angela. It's fantastic. Don't listen to it if you're not ready to move once that beat starts to drop. You won't be disappointed. So just to recap today's episode, mentorship can be found in many different places. It's not just your traditional person to go have lunch with or something. Although that is still a very valid type of mentorship. I'm not saying it's not. But look into books, self-improvement, self-help books. Look into YouTube channels, maybe even booking some private coaching with someone. I think investing in yourself, Jared, is always a good investment.
Yeah. I've never thought about hiring a coach for myself or paying for that.
Might not be a bad way to spend some money.
Is it like by the hour? Is it like per session?
It depends.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the
It'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting. I don't know. I feel like I just side eye it because it's just like, oh, I'm just paying this person.
Right.
And what are they're just telling me what, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. But it works. Clearly people do it. It's a big industry, as you say. So
Right.
I'm not totally against it.
Right. I got to try to sell Jared a little bit more, people,
Yeah.
but I think I can do it.
I'm a hard
and,
sell.
and I would say, too, for all of our listeners out there, please read. You can find it, because the book is so old, you can find it online for free as a PDF. Check out How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It really changed my opinions and perceptions on how to interact and work with people, and definitely for the better. So check that out. There are so many ways you can approach mentorship and being mentored. If you are looking for a mentor for podcasting, you can let us know at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast. Also, feel free to slide into those DMs on Twitter, Untranslatable1. Let us know some different types of mentors you've had, or some ways you would appreciate having a mentor. We'd really like to hear from you. So, lastly, please, 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher, and let us know how we can make this podcast better for you. So, as we say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, dziękujemy, muchas gracias, shishir, and do svidania. All right. Get those tunes going. With that new keyboard, man, hopefully I can bring some new tunes to the
you've been playing around with it?
soundscape. Oh, yeah. It's fun. It's got a pitch modulator, so you can bend it up and down.
It's so funny, too, because you've always had a keyboard. But now you have
it's
a toy.
Right, but the MIDI keyboard's different. It just connects directly via USB.
It's easier to mess around with the sounds.
Yep, and it has the little pads for beats, so I can make beats.
Right.
So that's a
Have you
game
done that
changer.
yet?
Little bit, yeah. So, yeah, good time.